This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest horse racing handicapping video. And in this video, I'm going to analyze the Grade 1 Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup at Keeneland for Saturday, October 14th, 2023. Now, last week I was very busy on my YouTube channel. I posted 8 Breeders' Cup Win and You're In videos, and my top choices won 3 of those races. And let's see if I can have some more video success as we get closer to the 2023 Breeders' Cup. Speaking of the Breeders' Cup, if you're interested in reading my Breeders' Cup handicapping articles, you can head on over to todaysracingdigest.com and you'll find all of my Breeders' Cup handicapping articles in their news section. And I've written so far 9 articles, all 5 Breeders' Cup Friday races I've covered, and then 4 of the Breeders' Cup Saturday so far. Each day I'm posting a new article, so by the end of this week I'll have all 14 Breeders' Cup handicapping angles articles written at todaysracingdigest.com. In the description in this video, I will provide links to all the articles that I've written so far at Today's Racing Digest for the Breeders' Cup if you're interested in reading those. Now, if you're interested in my full card analysis for the Breeders' Cup, that annual 2-day product will be available at the runawayrhorse.com on my sales page, Breeders' Cup Week. It's going to be packed full of analysis, wagering strategies, and so much more. So head on over to the runawayhorse.com on my sales page for more details, and you will also be able to purchase my 2023 Breeders' Cup full cards at todaysracingdigest.com. Now we will get into the analysis of this Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup. It's going to go as race 9 at Keeneland for Saturday, October 14th. This is a Grade 1 race, $600,000 purse for 3-year-old fillies. And they're going to be traveling 1 1/8 on the turf course. Scheduled post time, 5:16 p.m. Eastern time. Mission of Joy, 20-1 morning line for trainer Graham Motion. This is a daughter of Kitten's Joy, and she's run 8 times with 4 wins and a 3rd place finish. She was on a good roll earlier this year. She won the Grade 3 Florida Oaks at Tampa Bay, and then she was 3rd in the Grade 2 Edgewood at Churchill, and then she won the Grade 3 Regret at Churchill as well. The Belmont Oaks at 1 1/4. She was up on the pace, but she weakened to finish 7th. The Virginia Oaks, she was the beaten favorite, finishing an even 4th last time out. Second start after a layoff, John Velasquez gets aboard, and she had a bullet workout for this at Fair Hill on October 7th. On her best day, she can at least get a piece of this. Elusive Princess is 3-1 morning line. She's number 2. Flavian Pratt will ride. Arnold Delacour is the trainer, and she's run 8 times with 4 wins and 2 seconds. She made her U.S. debut in the Grade 3 Saratoga Oaks Invitational on soft turf at 1 3/16 on August 4th. It was raining during that race. It was a real mess, but she definitely handled that wet course. She rallied from 7th place, and she was much the best. She won going away as the favorite by more than 3 lengths. She'll probably get a little bit of a different turf course here. I don't know if it's going to be that soft. And then her other races were in France, and she handled soft turf there. So any kind of given the ground, she's certainly going to enjoy. Number 3, Safeen. She's 30-1 morning line for trainer Eddie Keneally. This is a war front filly, and she's run 8 times, and she's consistent. 3 wins, a 2nd, and 3/3. So that's 7 out of 8 she's finished in the trifecta, and she's run once at Keeneland, and she finished 3rd. She's had 2 starts at this 1 1/8 distance with a win and a 3rd. She's just going to have to step up her game. She did run well in the Tepin Stakes at Ellis Park, rallying, stalking the pace and finishing 3rd. The Grade 3 Pucker Up at that same venue at 1 1/8. She won that one after stalking the pace. And then the Dueling Grounds Oaks at Kentucky Downs last time out. She stalked and she weakened. She was 8th, beaten 14 lengths in the 12-horse field. Sometimes Kentucky Downs can be tricky and horses don't handle it. Give her the benefit of the doubt. She's fairly consistent, but she is going to have to run faster against decent company. Mawj is number 4, and she is shipping in from Great Britain. This is a Godolphin filly, and she's 2-1 morning line, and she's run 8 times, 5 wins, a 2nd, and a 3rd. She's won her last 3 starts, so she's 3 for 3 in 2023, but she hasn't run since May 7th. That May 7th race was impressive, though. That was the Grade 1 guineas, 1,000 guineas at 1 mile at Newmarket. And in that race, it was a 20-horse field, and I watched the replay a few times there. It was a crazy race. You had 20 horses. They were basically in 2 packs of 10 running separately for a while. And then they all came together. Mawj was forwardly placed throughout, and she kicked away along with Tahira. And those two, they just kicked away and dominated that race. And Mawj was able to win by a half length, and Tahira was 7.5 lengths clear of the rest of the field. So for those two, just dominating that one. And Tahira, since then, she's won back-to-back Group 1 wins. So Mawj beat a good filly last time out, and she's fresh. That was an impressive race, considering with all those horses running, that the top two were able to separate themselves by more than 7 lengths from that rest of those 18 horses. And then the fact that runner-up came back and won back-to-back Group 1 races, and Mawj hasn't run since then. Obviously going to be a contender in here if she runs that kind of race in her first start in the U.S. Be Your Best is next for Horatio De Paz. She's 0 for 2 at Keeneland, but she's fairly consistent. 8 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. 2 starts at this distance, 2 runner-up finishes. She's had some success in stakes races. The Miss Grillo Stakes last year, she was 3rd. Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, she was 9th place that day. She was 2nd by a neck behind Prerequisite, who's in this race in the Wonder Again Stakes, a Grade 2 earlier this year. And then she was 9th in the Belmont Oaks. She shipped to Del Mar on the West Coast, and she finished 2nd in that race. Anisette won that one. She's a talented filly out west, and she came back and she finished. She hit the board in the Grade 2 Rodeo Drive at 1.25 miles against Older Company earlier this week at Santa Anita. So Be Your Best, probably sitting there in mid-pack. I could definitely see her at least getting a share. Lindy, 6-1 morning line for trainer Brendan Walsh. 7 starts, 4 wins in 2 seconds. Very consistent. The only time she was off the board, Group 1 Company in France in June. She was 8th, beaten 10 lengths. Before that, she won her first 3 starts, and then she was 2nd in back-to-back group races prior to that 8th place finish. And then last time, her U.S. debut, Kentucky Downs, optional claiming race. She stalked the pace, and she won nicely by 1.25 lengths. She was the heavy favorite, but it was only a 4-horse field. So now we're going to see if she can step up her game and face some better company here and run a quality race in her second U.S. start. Sounds of Heaven. This is one making her first start in the U.S. for trainer Jessica Harrington. 5 starts, 2 wins, and a 3rd place finish in Ireland, Great Britain, and France. Now, she was off the board in a Group 1 at France last time, but she did win back-to-back races. Last fall at Leopardstown, she won by a length. And then York in Great Britain, her first start this year, she won by a head. And then in a Group 1 race, the Coronation Stakes, Tahira, that filly that was running against Mawj, won that one. This filly was 3rd, beaten a length, and then she did disappoint last time. So she can find that June 23rd, 2023 form. She could make some noise in this spot. Elounda Queen is next, and this filly is coming in from France, and she's 10-1 morning line, and Luis Saez will ride. 9 starts, 4 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. She exits a victory in a Group 3 at Deauville on soft ground at 1 mile. Before that, she was 2nd by a nose, and then her start prior to that on soft ground at 1 mile, she won by 5. So her recent form's pretty good. She's been freshened for this. We're going to see where she fits from a class standpoint. Heavenly Sunday could be the one to catch for trainer Brad Cox. This is a daughter of Candy Ride with 7 starts, 3 wins, a 2nd and 2/3. At Keeneland, she's had a win and a 3rd place finish from 2 starts. She hasn't run at this 1 1/8 distance. In the Grade 2 Lake Placid, she set the pace and weakened to 7th last time. Prior to that, the Tepin Stakes, she set the pace and she held 2nd. Safeen, who's in this race, was 3rd. And then her start prior to that in the Edgewood, she wired the field there, running nicely. And Mission of Joy was 3rd in that race. So she's one that she has some ability, and she will be setting the pace, but I think they're going to be coming after her in the stretch. Liguria is next for trainer Chad Brown, and Chad Brown's had a lot of success in this race. So he's won multiple editions of this Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup. And this filly's going to have to step up her game, though. Last time she was 4th in the Winter Memories, racing evenly. The Lake George, she was 5th. She won the Wild Applause earlier this year. Then as a 2-year-old, she won the Grade 2 Jimmy Durante, the Grade 3 Jimmy Durante at Del Mar. That was December of 2022. So she can get involved from off the pace. Flavian Pratt's ridden her multiple times, but he's not aboard this time. And Joel Rosario is going to ride this filly in this spot. Prerequisite for trainer Chad Brown. This is the daughter of Upstart, 5 starts, 2 wins, and a second place finish. After breaking her maiden on May 7th at Belmont at 1 1/8 on the inner turf, stalking the pace, she wired the field in the Wonder again, and then in her next start, the Belmont Oak, she set the pace and she was a close second. Then the Lake Placid, she had the outside post. She wasn't able to get to the lead, and she raced evenly in mid-pack. Irad Ortiz Jr. would surely like to get her up on the pace, and I think that she's going to be up there along with Heavenly Sunday. So number 12 in here, Papilio for trainer Mark Cassie. Another decent, consistent sort. 11 starts, 3 wins, 3 seconds, 2 third-place finishes. She's 1 for 1 at Keeneland, and she's had a start at 1 1/8 with a third-place finish. Last time in the Saratoga Oaks, Elusive Princess dominated that one. Papilio was third. She was third in the Grade 1 Belmont Oaks. She was second in the Grade 3 Regret. She won the Appalachian at Keeneland earlier this year in the spring. So she'll try to get involved from off the pace. Tough post under Javier Castellano. And then number 13 isn't also eligible. She's had 9 starts, 2 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. If she gets in, very tough post. She did win the Dueling Ground Oaks last time out. So Freydis the red, number 13, I think it will be up against it if she does draw into the body of the field. So there's different ways you can go in here. There's multiple European runners that seem capable on paper of winning this race. You have a horse that ran once in this country, obviously. Elusive Princess looked very good in her last start. We'll see what she can do in here. If the ground is a little bit different, I just think she really handled that ground last time, and maybe some others didn't. But obviously she showed ability overseas as well, winning 3 races overseas prior to winning that Grade 3 Saratoga Oaks. She's definitely a top contender, but I'm going to go with number 4, Mawj. I was just watching that race. I was impressed visually with that effort. I like the fact that that was a 20-horse field, and 2 classy fillies separated themselves from the rest. And it wasn't like the first time that she ran well. She's 5 for 8, and she romped by 8 lengths prior to winning that race. And she's 3 for 3 this year. She's fresh. We'll see if she can handle the 1 1/8. But I really think that Mawj, visually and from a class standpoint, I think she certainly stacks up with these, and I think she's got a good shot in here. So Mawj is going to be my top choice, number 4. I'm going to make Elusive Princess number 2 my second choice. I'm going to make number 1, Mission Joy, my third choice. And then rounding out my top 4 is the 5, Be Your Best. And I will give out wagering strategies in this race. I'm going to make a win wager on number 4. We're going to play an exacta box of 2-4, then a trifecta 2-4 with the 1, 2, 4, and 5 with the 1, 2, 4, and 5. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. And keep checking my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of Breeders' Cup related videos in the coming weeks as we get closer to the 2023 Breeders' Cup. And check out my Breeders' Cup articles at todaysracingdigest.com. And check out my Breeders' Cup full cards, Breeders' Cup week, at therunawayhorse.com on my sales page. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.